guy at the stoplights that likes to roll down the window and speak to the animals. Kind of do it in their voice, and it gets a little, hey, what's going on, buddy? Things like that. Not that guy. So I really don't know much about reincarnation. I know it's coming back and things like that. There was a time in my life where I lived in Austin specifically, and I lived in probably 4 cities the last 6 years. But in Austin specifically, my wife and I took care of a lot of dogs. And we never really turned any away. Some of them were great, some of them were shitheads. And it's kind of a story about a few of them that stuck with me over time. So after watching everybody else's, I almost feel like this is going to be a little bit of therapy for me, so just go with it. Along the way, something interesting started to happen. As you kind of get all these dogs that come through your house, you start to see yourself in them a little bit. Between the pooping, the walking, the feeding, the playing, these are my 4 quadrants of dog care, I guess. Although I don't have to do any of it. I don't poop dogs or anything like that. They take care of that on their own. But between all that, like, there's this sweet spot where, you know, at 6 in the morning, you're out there and you got a lot to think about. You start getting inside your head. And so, you know, to put it bluntly, there's times in life, whether it's professional, personal, where each of us is the alpha, the beta, and even sometimes the omega. And it's kind of a top layer way of looking at it. But there's always these points in life where you're going to lead and you're going to just have to follow, get on with it. So I have 3 dogs I'm kind of talk about here. And these are 3, they're male dogs. They don't like female dogs, and I actually prefer female dogs. But these are 3 dogs that when I got this topic, these are the ones I can think about and remember the most. And not everything was pleasant with them, but they were the most interesting. So this guy right here is named Foster. And he was the dog of my friend's Jimmy Robin. He actually just passed away like 6 months ago. And if you can see, he's got a shock collar on there. He was the Steve McQueen of dogs. There was no fence that he couldn't get over, and he actually headbutted through a few times. So one of the things that he taught me was that, you know, to escape whenever possible, but always know when to come home. So Foster had a thing about getting out, and he'd gotten out so many times, either at my house or with his owners, that the dog catchers knew him by first name or knew him by name, and he didn't have to ride in the back. He got to ride in the front after a while. So one of the things I took away from that is that even though he escaped, he always kind of got back to where he was from, and so he trusted his instincts. And I always try to remember that and live by that whenever possible, that it's really important just to kind of know what's going to happen and just trust your gut and trust your feelings. On the other side of it, he was an asshole. Like, he had to get out, and nothing was going to stop him. So he had his convictions, and he followed his heart, and he went out full force, actually broke fences with his head, scared the shit out of me sometimes. He'd be gone for nights, and then just show up. This guy was Leo, and I don't remember growing Leo because we watched like 30 dogs for years. But Leo was half Mastiff, half Pit Bull or Rottweiler or something. Big, scary dog. When he stayed with me, he had skin conditions. I had to get up at 5 in the morning and give him injections. Aspirin. But he was really sweet. And so he used his perceived weakness. He was a real big, scary dog. I remember the neighbors being scared of him. And he wasn't going to bite anybody, and he wasn't going to do anything. So he figured out a way, despite his size and despite his sound, to really tap into emotions. And one of the things that he was really good at was compassion. He actually caught a feral kitten. I say caught, he adopted the kitten. And he kept this kitten for quite a few months before the owner gave it away. So he was compassionate, and he showed this kitten kind of a new life and taking it from where it was. So with that, he figured out how to be empathetic. And I try to remember that whenever possible. I know we're marketing, so we talk about consumer groups and things like that. So it's important to kind of be empathetic and always put yourself in the shoes of the people that we're trying to reach out to. But it works across life too. And this third dog is probably my favorite. He probably number 1, but so I'll finish on him. And I couldn't find all the great pictures. This is a little pixelated. But this dog's name was Bowie, and his owner was absolutely nuts. But we loved the dog, so we put up with her just to be able to watch the dog. And we actually lived in a haunted house at the time, so I'm right there with you, ghost. So what he taught me was that it's always be a gracious house guest. And you can't really see it here, but he's got costumes on. And he let us do that. He let us dress him up and put him in costumes. He never barked, never did anything like that. So he was always gracious. And that's one of the things that, I learned from him. On the other side of it, he had really bad hips. But he managed to get out and get around, and he hopped. And so he was a bit of a realist. And so when I watch him, he still liked to play, he still loved sticks, but he knew that he wasn't going to run as far or fast or jump over things like the other dogs. But he was cool with it. So he stayed self-assured, and he never gave up. He would be at the park, and other dogs would come up to him, and he didn't want to play. He would stay by my side, and it was just kind of a pleasure to watch him, and everybody in the family loved him. And we don't know what happened to him eventually. He's like 15 now, so wow, that was fast. So recap here, that was my dog when I was a kid, I feel really recap, it's just important to kind of take a step back and kind of learn lessons from anything that happens in life and start to figure this stuff out. There's a few things that take away from that. So number one is obviously escape, get out to where you want to go, take a break, take a walk, clear your head a little bit. Use your perceived weakness to your advantage. If you're a big and scary guy, give somebody a hug. And number three, always be a gracious house guest. Never shit, baby.